Good morning, my friends. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to another episode of Silly Girls, Silly Thoughts. I'm your host, Mindful Body with Rachel B. It's me. We're talking love. If you could tell by today's title, Guilty Until Broken Up, I feel like it's kind of fitting these days. As most of you know, I'm a marriage and family therapist, licensed associate marriage and family therapist, fingers crossed, hopefully licensed by the end of this month, but we will tell by those test results in a few weeks. I talk about love on the daily. I talk about relationships all the time. I have young adults ask me about love all the time. This is what I do. I love love. I love talking about love. I love experiencing love, both the good and the bad, because as I tell my young adults, love and life is like a balance. You're going to have good and bad at the same time. I'm here to ride it out. The good moments of love and the chaotic moments of love, because they're going to happen. I'm opening up today's podcast to talk about love just from the relationship sense, or even for my listeners who are trying to pursue love again for the first time, getting back into it for taking a break. But the game has changed. Some of you know I didn't really find my present love until I was 27. So I've gone through my first dates, I've gone through my relationships, I've gone through my own limitations in love, and still continuing because I have my own history. I jokingly like to say I have a 2-year relationship curse. I haven't been in relationships longer than 2 years. My COVID relationship was 3, but I don't even know if I should count the year we were locked in with each other because it was just a weird time for so many of us. It's still a blur. We're still catching up, making up for 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, maybe more. We're just figuring it out, whether that be ourselves, our dynamics, our environment. But when people talk to me about love and how they're pursuing dating, I'll label it as immaturity. Because in my head, my silly thought, I categorize chaotic love as middle school, high school love, early college. It's supposed to be. When we're young and dumb, we're little narcissistic shits. Oh my gosh, a therapist throwing around the word narcissism? Get over it. You guys have ruined therapy on the internet. I'm not here to give you therapy advice. I'm here just to shoot the shit and share my silly little thoughts. So when we're young and dumb and we're these little needy, greedy, selfish individuals, because people forget babies know what they want. Babies cry when they're hungry, babies cry when they want to be held, and we are still those babies. We still have those needs as we get older. Our cry just gets a little louder. Maybe there's words, maybe we fight, but we're still babies. We still have those feelings. All of us want to be held. All of us want to be cared for. All of us want to be nurtured. We can go into the 5 love languages even. But when love continues to be chaotic into your adulthood, that's where it gets complicated. We complicate so many things with our feelings, with our dynamics, because of so many factors in our control and outside of our control. So when I'm having friends, clients, the general public approach me about love. Rachel, how do I find it? Rachel, I'm supposed to have it. Well, Rachel, they said this online. There's so many messages, and we're going to break it down today, starting with expectations. I know previously in a podcast I mentioned expectations in my early adulthood 20s, and I think a lot of us share that expectation. Find love, get married, start family, move forward. Some people have a different story. Find love, travel the world, find love and start a business, find love and X, Y, and Z. It's your story. And maybe those expectations are just based on what we watch, pop culture, movies, our parents, our family, our friends. Sometimes love is based on our books we read. I love young adult fiction books. They're so sweet. We love a good story. We love a dynamic where somebody you don't expect falls in love and people see each other for who they are, because that's also life. So my expectation about love from a young mindset was just some cute boy will ask me out. I'll do all the prom and dances and movies, and we'll kiss and hold hands, and he'll ask me to marry him. We'll have a big extravagant wedding, and we'll get married, have kids, and now what? That's what was in my head. It wasn't this big flamboyant thing, but it wasn't this very minimal thing. Think about what your expectations are about love. If we played a game about ages, everyone expects to find love, high school, college, engaged, married, starting a family, 25. But sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. Some people are finding love organically, some people are searching for it, some people are forcing it. How do you meet people? We hear that being talked about on podcasts left and right. How do you meet people? People ask me as a therapist, how do I meet people? I say, go outside. Go outside. But looking at a factor that's outside of our control, last 4 years have changed our spaces. It's not as much community. There's not as many parks. I was even telling my boyfriend last night, it sucks that these kids keep getting riled up into trouble. And now we have all these curfews, and there's no parks to hang out to, and there's no Inkwell. Shout out to Monmouth County in New Jersey. There's no places for people to get together and hang out. We're trying to bring it back. Whether it's you're involved in certain community spaces like churches or gyms or volunteer areas, your work, these are your community spaces, but where are we mingling? Outside of the bar, because a lot of us don't drink, outside of the drug scene, because you shouldn't be finding love when you're not really sober. Please stop that shit. I'm so over it. I think if I ever have an episode about bad first dates, my line that I hate hearing is how people are pushing this whole like gardening experience. Stop. This feels like high school all over again, where everyone's like, you should have a drink, you should have a drink, you should have it. No. Why can't we just talk and hang out? Why can't we do activities? Why is it always in spaces where substance has to be around? Because that just makes me feel that you don't really want to be here. That's my preference. I'm not hating what you do. Do what you want to do. Time and place. Not all the time. Not the kind of relationship I want. Not the type of space where things are clear. Expectations, people assume that everything's going to work out while doing nothing. You can't do nothing. You don't have to make it complicated where you're doing everything, but you can't do nothing. Where is that happy medium? In your control to put yourself out there. In your control to talk to people, friends of friends. Hey, do you know someone? Do you know someone? Is anyone single? You should meet X, Y, and Z. Expectations, it's very rare that anyone's going to bump shoulders on a train and fall in love in that day. Expectations, I love the Delulu trend that was going on TikTok for a while. That was girlhood. Girlhood in a sweet little package with a bow. Oh, he looked at me, he must be in love with me. Oh, he texted me. Oh, he checked my story. I love that for you, girl. I did it too, I know. We all do it. We make these assumptions, we set these expectations, we're putting up this big picture about love and making it this big, big deal. And this isn't Instagram. This isn't reality TV. This is average life. Average life is a lot more simpler. Average life can be a lot calmer. If you want to be loud, be loud. But are you being loud to put on the show for other people, or are you putting on the show for yourself? When we're tackling expectations, I'm not trying to come from this pessimistic, glass half empty mentality. Sometimes expectations can be very disappointing if they're not true. But when you approach love and you approach relationships, not even in a romantic sense, you just say hi. I remember last summer I was just walking through the mall, and I look at toddlers all the time. I think they're hilarious. When I'm working with young and older adults, I don't know how to make friends, and it's just so nerve-wracking, and like how to approach people, and I don't know what to do. I'm like, don't you think it's funny Silly thought how toddlers can just walk up and say hi. Hi. That's it. It's that simple. There was a point when I was living in an apartment in Union County and I didn't have many friends in the area, and I made it a goal at my gym to compliment a girl, or so I made it my goal to compliment someone. Oh my gosh, love your outfit, girl. That color looks great on you. Hey, good morning. How's it going? Talk. There's a difference between being annoying and just having small passing moments. Small passing moments can build into things. It connects to building attachments and seeing familiar faces and building that confidence to say those smaller things into bigger sentences. Hey, that outfit looks great on you. That color looks awesome. Turns into, hey, I saw you here on Thursday. You're working out so well. How are you feeling? Build that conversation. Build those attachments. When people pursue love in public spaces, you got to go into it with charm. You got to go into it with ease. And if you're being pushy and the stop sign is up, change directions, bitch. Nobody likes a pushy flirt. Nobody likes a pushy flirt. Hi, how you doing? How you feeling? Hey, seeing you here so many times. Love to take you out for coffee if you're interested. No? All right. Best of luck to you. Bye. That's it. That's it. There's going to be fears. There's going to be nerves. There's going to be excitement. When you're finally trying your best to take a chance on love and pursue love for the first time and go on those first dates, try to think from yourself. What do I need? Do I need to build more confidence as I speak to people? Do I need to be in more public settings to feel comfortable? Do I need to be outside? Do I need to be doing an activity? You know how many times I've told nervous people to go out to a movie? Nobody knows this dating trick. You don't have anything to talk about. This is someone completely new. Go to the movies. Have dinner after. Talk about the movie. Build up conversation and topics from those topics. It's just taking it. Grow. Don't overanalyze. Don't overthink. Live in the present moment. Let go of expectation. Who am I meeting with? What are they like? What are we looking for? These are the young lessons of love that we also discover in ourselves. As I said before, my high school dating experience was a shit show. I thought everyone's was. You would date somebody, they'd cheat on you, you cheat on them, everyone would cheat on each other, people would fight, well, you're not loyal and this one's not loyal. But there was a difference. I grew up when social media started. Now I'm watching young people not just going through each other's social media, but having their passwords to go through their social media. What the hell is going on? Where is this mentality coming from? Did it start with the generation before me, or is it my generation who had these paranoias and anxieties? Did we start this trend where you were being sneaky and hiding things on your phone? Is it parents going through kids' phones? Now kids are imitating their parents and going through their partners' phones? What are you guys looking for before you guys even went out on your first, second, third date? Everyone is so quick. I don't even want to say to expose themselves, but like, you guys are so quick to find something wrong before you even say hi. Before you even find something that feels right, you're finding something wrong. That's not dating. That's being so insecure, so overprotective, and so nervous that you're self-sabotaging yourself. And I see this coming from both directions, all directions, if not everybody's direction. If I am like sitting here frustrated because I'm like, how? How did we lose such a sense of control? How do we lose such a sense of boundaries? How do we lose a sense of excitement and simplicity when I have middle schoolers acting like it's a Jerry Springer show? Middle schoolers. The type of influencing we have on social media, this is really turning into a silly thought soapbox speech. Social media is influencing young people about love Silly me, again, I was a young adult before social media even started. I was probably in middle school. Did I watch the Jerry Springer show? Sure, we saw people fight. But you related these people, and maybe it was just my silly head, as such extreme and acting cases. You're like, this can't be real. People like this don't exist. They do. They do. But that doesn't mean everyone should be like this. I don't even know. When did we start praising each other in our genders? We're praising men, we're praising women for doing such toxic things. I'm so over these very extreme dominated spaces online that are pushing these mentalities of traditional, but you're not doing a traditional dynamic. Men want a traditional woman, but you don't like having to foot the bill. So, and honestly, it's impractical if you're actually living in New Jersey. It's a dual income like state, if I had to be pretty common sense moment, which I feel is so impractical living in New Jersey as a middle class person during inflation. Who the hell is relying on their husband? God bless, he's working hard, be happy. And the men who do that and live in that dynamic, great. You do you. There's no harm in that. But there's a balance to it. So for every guy who's telling me they want a traditional relationship, but they don't want to foot the bill, then you have to adjust it to your needs, which is compromise. You want a traditional aspect? There's an expectation of you too. Girls, you want a traditional aspect? There's an expectation of you too, and that doesn't mean demanding a six figure when you do nothing. I'm so tired of this. Are there relationships like this? Sure, the 1%. Reality? No. Reality relationships, whether it's dealing with finances, dealing with it's always about finances. It's not even dynamics really. Sometimes everyone's like, "Oh, I just want someone to like a woman to stay home and cook." Bitch, I want to stay home and cook too. I'm trying my best, but my boyfriend and I work too hard, so we're just taking turns at this point. Some people can do it. That's great. If you can do it, awesome. Reality, relationships are 100%. I put 100% in, my boyfriend puts in 100%. If I put in 80, it's to help with his 20. If he puts in 75, it's to help because I'm only putting in 25. And that's related to so many things. We both work. We both give back to the house. We both take care of animals. We both have household chores. We both have our own self-cares. We both have our own routines. There are so many things we do as individuals and then do for each other, and that's a relationship in my mindset. That's a relationship that goes hand in hand. That's a relationship that's looking out for each other while also being responsible for yourself. Because it's great to be taken care of. It's great to take care of others. But it should not be expected. There are so many things young people are learning in terms of who am I? What do I like? Who compliments me? When people ask what kind of person do I date, I would always say I'm a worst matchmaker. No. I'll never pair up my friends with anybody. It's very rare that I do. Sometimes I just kind of start like, "Oh yeah, that's so and so. Yeah, they're into X, Y, and Z. You go talk to them, see what happens." Hot potato. Because I'm nervous. I don't know you guys on a romantic level. How am I supposed to find you love? I'm still figuring out myself too. Still coming to that closing of this is who I am, this is what I like, this is how I can show up, and this is the type of personality that complements me. There was an eye-opening experience for me. I was pursuing this idea of, quote, perfect partner. If you ask my sister, I dated the same person with a different face. I have my dating theme. And even in my head as I was young, I'm like, oh, there's one person who doesn't do this, but that person does that. But they don't do this, but that person does that. But they don't do that, so that person does that. And I keep thinking, as I'm getting older, oh, I'm getting better as I'm dating. I'm finding what I need. I'm looking for what I want. I'm acknowledging what works and what doesn't. Bitch, no. Girly, no. Rachel, I was being a silly little mess. I was being a silly girl just trying to find love. I think there was a point where I was just desperate for love because I saw it exist. We see it exist. We see it through our social media. We see it through our YouTubers. We see it through our influencers. We see it through our friends. Everybody's quote unquote finding love. That's his favorite. I love that line. Rachel, everyone's finding love. Rachel, everyone's dating. Rachel, everyone has a date for the dance. Rachel, everyone. That's nice. Everyone's having sex. Okay. Sure. Everyone. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people doing a lot of things at the same time. But a lot of people talk. A lot of people feel like they're missing out. A lot of people feel like they're not included. A lot of people are fearful that they don't know what everybody else knows. So young and dumb me, I rush into love. I'm so desperate to be loved that I'm running to love, open arms, if you embrace my metaphor, and I'm just smacking the wall with my face. Because you can't just run into love. You have to open the door. So here I am running into relationships, smacking my face on the way in, and I'm not paying attention to it. It's not me, it's them. It's not me, it's them. No one can keep up with me. I'm too loud. I'm too outgoing. I'm too flustered. I'm doing too much. No one can keep up with me. I'm the problem. And they're just not my speed. My silly thought, it was just this mentality of no one can keep up with me. No one has what I want. No one can maintain what I want. And it's not me, it's them. I hate that line. Were there situations where it was them? Sure. Are there situations where it's me? Yes. These are the things you have to pay attention to. What are the positives of this relationship? What are the things we enjoy from our counterpart? What are the things we can tolerate? What are the things we can't? Are there things that you just can't compromise? Of course. I laugh at my partner all the time, as much as he and I can see where each other's coming from and possibly empathize with the perspective. There's still, I jokingly say, a 10% block in each of us. And sometimes maybe it's gender. Sometimes maybe it's politics. I don't need to date myself. When I was looking for love, at some point I really sat down with who's going to compliment me. I don't need these negative attitudes where people are like, you need to be X, Y, and Z, and you need to look for this, and you need to have. What stupid shit have I heard on the internet? You need to date a man with 6 figures, and he needs to be 6 feet tall, and you need to date a woman who's submissive and listens to everything you say. These are not negative things. They might be your things, but they're not everybody's things. Why are we influencing people to do the same thing? I almost find it disgusting when people shame different dynamics when the typical American gender roles are flipped. And some of my friends who come from different backgrounds, I understand the traditional aspect too. I almost find it like humorous when people talk about different dynamics from a judgmental point because I don't care what people do. Don't be an asshole, but you know what I mean. I think it's funny when my grandmother, she tries her best. Most of you know, she's from Puerto Rico. She has a more traditional mindset, but she's also my biggest hypocrite, like most of the Hispanic women in my life. One moment will be, Rachel, make sure you clean your house, to, Rachel, is your boyfriend helping you clean that house? Rachel, did you make dinner? Rachel, does your boyfriend cook for you? He needs to cook for you. It's very back and forth, but that's her. As much as she loved to take care of my grandfather, and she has typical gender Hispanic roles in her head, if you know, you know. But my grandmother also did everything, which I think a lot of our moms did and grandmas did. It was they went to work and they also took care of a house and they also took care of the family and they also took care of the food and they possibly took care of the bills and they dominated that space. A throwback to my big fat Greek wedding, a woman is the neck while the man is the head of the house. It's not that I'm sitting here bashing on men. I'm sitting here going, you can have a traditional aspect, a traditional home, Gender roles in our house is that my boyfriend takes care of every outside chore, mowing the lawn, weed whacker. Not that I don't want to do it, but I'll leave it to him. I don't want to walk through that grass. I'm tired. I want to clean inside our home. I like having a clean space. I want to sweep. I want to mop. I want to organize. I want to sit in my space and appreciate my clean space. Clean space, clean mind, friends. Silly thought. That's kind of gender roly. Did I just coin a new term on the podcast? You can have your own dynamics. Am I ignorant about some of the bills in our house? Of course I am. My boyfriend takes care of most of them, but we split our bills how we want to. It may not be 50-50. Some people have 70-30. Some people do 60-40. Some people do 80-20. That's based on the individual when it comes to finances. When it comes to household chores, talk about it, split it up. My boyfriend takes care of the outside again because I don't really want to go outside too much. He loves the heat, he loves to sweat. Live your best life. I want to be in the house. I want to take care of the kitchen, make sure it's clean. I want my office to be clean. I want our bedspread to be nice and pressed. I want folded clothes. Clean bathrooms. I enjoy to cook. My boyfriend enjoys to cook. We've talked about these things and we've traded off dynamics, and there's chores that we share and there's chores that we split up, and there's chores that we each have to help each other with when things get too much, because that's life. You're going to sit here and listen to my podcast and think if I'm at work and my boyfriend's at work, vice versa, the other one's not tired? It's not easy to be living in this state of this country where everyone has to work and everyone has to show up and everyone has to do the same thing and then some. Everyone has to step up in order for this to work. And if you're not willing to step up, don't expect someone to step up for you. Be grateful that they do, but please don't expect it. We still share gratitude in this household. Take what you want. I don't expect my boyfriend to make me dinner, but I say thank you so much. That's a big help today. Thank you for listening to me about how today's been long and I don't feel so well and that I'm coming home late. I really appreciate you getting me started with dinner, or even just making me dinner, or just having it prepared for me when I get home. You're setting up the house for me to come home to a quieter, safer, calmer space. And I would do the same for him. During the summertime, his hours change and they become a little bit longer. And what am I going to do to make sure he comes home to a more comfortable space? His laundry is done. Bed is made for him to rest in. Bathrooms are clean and ready for him to take a shower in. Grocery shopping is done. Bought what I could, asked him what he needed. And maybe it's just because our love language is acts of service and we're two older siblings who do too much. We're trying to do too much for each other. What's your love language? Acts of service, words of affirmation, physical touch, gift giving, quality time. Which one do you like to do? Which one do you like to receive? These are the things that you need to talk about and learn about for yourself, and learn when it comes to finding a person. If you're not understanding who you are, what you need, what you like, and your red flags, you're going to be approaching so many new relationships with so many walls up. And I think that's where all these attachment issues are coming from. Again, we're listening to these influencers pressing this idea of you need to date X, Y, and Z. You need to be X, Y, and Z. You need to look out for X, Y, and Z. Oh my God, the tone. The tone is so demanding and belittling and objectifying, and it's so disgusting, and I'm so tired of it. If I could call out these bigger podcasts, I would, but I'm even watching them just for research at this point. This is what we're watching. And you guys are believing it, and you guys are eating it all up, and I'm here to tell you, why are you believing actors? Why are you believing people who actually don't do these things for themselves? These are just stories. This is just entertainment. This isn't real. These people who are promoting these moments of life that are so chaotic in their adulthood should not be, ugh, I don't even know what you guys are doing. Like, applauding it? We love a good shit show. Again, I love Jerry Springer. I love Maury growing up, but like, that was TV. Social media is not real. Social media is entertainment. Social media is finding the funniest stories, pushing people to the limits, messing with people for laughs. And I'm kind of done messing with people. I'm kind of over watching it. Grow the hell up. What did I say? Past 23, if you're still doing dumb and young and dumb shit, you're still being sloppy, you're still causing chaos in love, however you want to categorize that. Not being loyal, not communicating, causing conflict, fidelity, whatever you're doing, lack of boundaries, being sneaky, all this crap. Stop it. Why? Why do you maintain these things? I almost like roll my eyes. I try my best not to. But when people say, oh, I'm doing the same things, I'm always in the same situation, it's always the same thing, guy or girl or in between. So what are you doing wrong then? Is all I ask. And they look at me like I got 8 heads. I had the same question asked to me. What am I doing? What am I doing that I'm attracting the wrong person for me? Each person, if I reflected back to each person I've dated, each person has one big quality that I want in a partner. Whether it was acts of service, whether it was words of affirmation, whether it was quality time. And when you put each characteristic of each person I dated that I really wanted to maintain, it makes up my partner now. He has all 5 of my expected needs or wanted needs, really, because we're not holding on to expectation. My wanted needs. I wanted someone to be able to cook. I wanted someone who was self-sufficient for themselves. I wanted someone who had a job. I don't care what the job is, but bitch, get the hell out of the house and go to work. Go to work. I'm over this crap where everyone's just like, I don't want to go outside. I don't go anywhere. You're rotting in your house. Go outside. Go outside. Get some sun. We are not vampires. I wanted someone to care about animals. I wanted someone who had routine. My current partner has all of that and then some. I love him. I love what we built, and this was all by accident. This is all out of no expectation, a chance, and just embracing the present moment. We enjoyed each other's presence, quality time. And then it just grew into this. Now we got a whole garden in the backyard. We got 3 animals and a house to take care of. It's me sneaking my way into his life. Convincing him to get me a black cat and grow radishes until our little heart desires. But I love talking to people about love. People who have simple love has been so attracting to me. Simple love in my mindset is just simple routine, saying good morning to one another, eating breakfast together, taking a walk outside, going to the beach in the morning, grabbing coffee, meeting each other for lunch between your workday, coming home and giving you a big hug when I get home. Sometimes my boyfriend and I just sit outside in the backyard and watch our animals. And I'm like, this is it. This is such simple and calm love. I was watching TikToks last night and just sitting with videos of people in their parents' home, and their parents are just calmly talking to one another and laughing and giggling and flirting, and that's such sweet, simple love. Running out to grab late night snacks, driving around. That's what I did when I was in high school. Go to the movies. As I got older in my late 20s, people made love so complicated and like competition. It felt very competition. Well, who's taking you on vacation? Where are you traveling? And what money does he make? And how many things did he buy you? I'm like, what the? Leave me alone. Leave me alone. That's great. You went on vacation. That's awesome. Did you talk about your trip? Oh, you're talking about how you're going on another vacation to outdo my vacation? What the hell is that? I don't want to play this game. I'm not here to be in competition with other people's love. I want to celebrate love. I want to celebrate you meeting someone. I want to celebrate smiles. I want to celebrate laughs. I want to celebrate bickering. I want to celebrate love. My favorite couple is Bob and Linda Berger. That's my favorite type of love. It's love that is playful. It's love that is loyal. It is love that's realistic. It's love that is in the present moment. And love, honestly, is trying your best to make it through complicated situations. Me included and so many others. We saw that during 2020 to 2024. We saw how the stress of that moment challenged so many of our relationships, romantic, family, friends. We saw, what year was it? That election way back when, 8 years ago. I saw how that tore apart so many relationships. These are outside factors outside of your control. What side are you on? What do you believe? You don't think like I think. We can't be together. We're complete opposite people. We don't get along. Nothing is right. It was so charged with stress and fear and panic. And when everyone's panicked, nothing works. I'm kind of just shrugging my shoulders. When everyone's panicked, nothing works. That's not saying that you have to be calm for your counterpart, but if neither of you can take turns communicating, assessing the situation, compromising, collaborating, processing, that's what's going to make things difficult. Life has some pretty unexpected challenges, and when those challenges come up, how are we going to get through it? How am I relying on my partner? How can they rely on me? How are we going to navigate through the situation? How are we going to talk about the situation? How are we going to cope with it? I see how that maintains or breaks relationships. So if you're already panicked and looking for something wrong, there's no privacy, there's no sense of just security in the individual. There's nowhere to hide on social media. There's nowhere to hide on the internet. If you need to find something, you'll find something. People found out political figures' credit card information at some point. You little people scare me. It's so easy to find shit. Why do you need their login? Because once you have their login, there's nothing else. What are you going to ask for? To sit on their shoulders and spend the whole day with them? What are you going to ask for? Body cam footage? What are you going to ask for? Their parent to walk with them and report back to you? That's so much work. That is so much work. I don't have that type of energy. I don't have that type of time. I'm here to say good morning to my boyfriend. He goes off to work. I go off to my work. He has my location for security reasons in terms of me getting lost, because I get lost down here all the time. I call him up like Charlie's Angel. I'm like, Charlie, find my location. I'm lost again. But we agreed on that. Insecurity grows. Jealousy grows. Fear grows. And it grows and it is protected by anger. So when you have anger in front, fear, insecurity behind, and all the way in the back is love, how the hell do you expect to be in love? Honestly. Your love is all the way in the back and you expect it to come forward, and you expect the other person's love to come forward when you are already so many walls up? I don't even have to direct this to anyone specific. I can say this to the general public. That's how bad it's gotten. Everybody is ready to just jump. Well, my ex did X, Y, and Z. Oh, I'm so sorry. Validate for you. I'm sorry that you had an experience, but like, I'm not your ex. Don't take away from experiences that were negative. If you had negative experiences in your relationship, that is valid. But then don't pursue a new relationship when you're not ready. Going back to our door metaphor, as I ran into doors with my arms wide open and smacked myself in the face, if you do not close all your doors, they leak into your present moment. And that complicates things. These are the lessons we learn as we get older. And they have to be instilled and they have to click. It's my responsibility to take accountability. It's my responsibility to gain trust. And I've been working on that for over a year. And I'll continue to do so. Because while I stay in my present relationship, I continue to do the work. Because even when there's moments where I slack or maybe I fall back for whatever reason, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I'm overwhelmed, and I'm not living in the present moment, I'm not checking in with my partner like I am supposed to, because that's what I said I would do. He checks in. Rach, where you at? Come back to the present moment with me, please. You're right. I need to show up. I need to step up. Thank you for checking in. And vice versa. Confrontation isn't this negative thing. Confrontation isn't this scary thing. Confrontation isn't a fight. Sometimes confrontation is communication, talking. Hey, I feel. Hey, I need. Hey, could we? People have to be open-minded to these conversations. They have to happen. Because relationships, just like we do as individuals, they change as we grow. Our needs change as we grow, as factors change. Our needs grow and change as situations change. It's finding people that will change along with you, but not always side by side with you, which is okay. Sometimes love is long distance. Sometimes love happens again a few years later. Sometimes I don't even think my relationship makes sense just because we come from, I don't want to say different backgrounds, but we'll say just different life experiences when we were teens. And there's moments I don't understand because I didn't experience the same things as he did. But I also find that so interesting as he finds it interesting in me. You have to be a little bit different. If you're a person who's trying to find your carbon copy, you're a little obsessed with yourself, but best of luck to you. I'm not trying to look for my carbon copy. I don't need to date myself. I'm a pain in the ass. Why am I going to date myself? I'm trying to find people who compliment me. I'm trying to find friendships, relationship, obviously, that complements me because that's what keeps me engaged. I want to talk. I want to learn. I want to explore. I want to hear different perspectives. I want to go on adventures. I want to discover new things. It is me. We got to have somebody. So when it comes to learning about yourself, figuring out your ish, if you're not feeling confident in what you want and what you're pursuing, you got to go back to the drawing board, my friends. Because dating people and looking for something wrong just tells me that you're not ready. Why are you expecting that something's going to go wrong before it even starts? Why do you think you're not worthy of love? Why are you so scared of love? What happened when you were loved? They're the heaviest questions, but they need to be asked. Because if you don't reflect on your previous love for the good moments, the bad moments, and the in-between, you're not going to understand your type of love. Everybody's is different. We can have similarities. But you are your own person as I am my own person. You will want something different than what I will want. And that's the beauty of it. Be your own person. Understand who you are. Think about what kind of people could complement that. And it can start small. Build on an interest. Shared music, shared sports, shared activities, shared values. Motivate each other to experience little things. Don't change each other. We're not here changing our people. We're not here fixing anyone. That's not what we're doing. No. But I'll attempt to surf at some point because my boyfriend surfs. And he's done a few yoga classes here and there. And I've skateboarded. And he's done a few painting classes. We take turns embracing each other's interests to help grow in our interests. But sometimes it's just what you do for love. But again, if you're doing nothing and you expect so much and you're not putting in effort, what are you doing? Silly thought. If you're waiting for something to happen and you're not putting yourself out there, you're going to be waiting for a long time. If you're demanding, go back to your parents. I want everyone to find love. I want everyone to keep their love that they have. And if you don't outgrow your immature habits, if you don't process your past, then you're going to be in this circle for a very long time. Reflect back to that karma episode. I think my last little tidbit for this episode is boundaries. 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 If I could scream it, I would, but I don't want to hurt your eardrums. Stop sharing each other's passwords for their social media. If you cannot trust your partner on social media and you can't trust yourself on social media, get off of social media. Stop watching social media influencers thinking this is real love. It's not love, it's entertainment. We've seen how Instagram, TikTok, YouTube couples and families have broken apart. I don't know why it's not clicking in y'all's head yet. When you do so much for the public and you're not doing anything for yourself, guess what? You're going to lose what you had for yourself. These are actors. Are there a few people who show their most authentic selves online? Yeah, I can applaud them. But it's very few. Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. Sometimes I think about before all these phones and screens and social medias and staying connected to the point where they literally are in your home and your thoughts. Our parents would just call each other on a landline. That's it. A landline. One phone, two phones, maybe shared within the household. I miss those types of boundaries. I miss them. Because sometimes I have to remind people that talking to their partner doesn't have to happen throughout the day, even when we have our phones. And everyone is different. Sometimes my boyfriend and I will just send little snippet texts back and forth. Hey, 3 clients down, 3 more to go. Hey, just eating lunch now. Made it to work safe. Hope you're having a good day. They're little messages throughout the day. And prior to living with each other, we would have a phone call at the end of the night just to talk about our day. Now we return home to each other and talk about our day. Why do I need to talk about my day all day with my partner and have nothing to talk about when we get home? Boundaries. Have something to talk about. Excited and look forward to each other. But when there's no boundaries and you guys are up each other's asses and then complain to me how you hate how your parents do that to you, funny. How funny is that? I love how we do things we don't like doing to ourselves. So much sense. Makes so much sense. So, food for thought and my silly thought. We need to set some better boundaries and we need to figure out our security and we need to process who we are and we need to let go. Letting go of what doesn't work and letting go of old patterns and letting go of things that no longer serve, no longer want, no longer need. We create some open space for new things to come your way. I know we're not in the full moon moment yet, but again, reflecting back on our karmas episode. What are you doing to attract these types of people, the same type of person? What are you doing to maintain certain habits and relationships? What are you doing to hold you back from finding new things, new love? I babbled for enough. Coming to a close, guilty until broken up. I want to see my young adults, clients, general public, and friends. I want to see my adults, and I even want to see our older adults find love, maintain love, be in love. But please, process our past. Close the doors, lock the windows before you open a new door. Get through your ish so you can approach love with a little bit more of an open mind and no expectations, but standards. And if things are not working out, don't force it. If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, my friend, it is a duck. And you gotta accept that. And you gotta let it fly away. If it's just not working, let it go and change your direction. Don't stay in your circle. Don't look for something wrong when it hasn't even started. I'm wishing all my friends, my listeners, a great rest of the day. That we all find love that is innocent until proven guilty. If proven guilty at all, I wish we all find simple and calm fun. I hope we all embrace summertime and summer love. I hope we can love a little bit more mindful and a little bit more balanced. That's another episode of Silly Girls, Silly Thoughts. I'm your host, Mindful Body with Rachel B. I'm wishing you all a great rest of the day, week, and weekend to come. I'll talk to everyone next Wednesday.